I always like to try to do, something occasionally because I know I haven't done a video in a few days now, just to keep things moving forward and also to, because I'm constantly analyzing things every day, and trying to understand this reality and studying everything from philosophy to, of course, the music, the Mandela effect, the changes, everything around us, right? And it's a process of elimination versus actually discovery in some sense. So you got to eliminate things, and also, but you also got to. It's kind of a balancing act because you also have to explore things as well, right? And so I'm going to tell you something. This is what's amazing about this. There's this movie that's called The Imaginarium of Doctor Parnassus. Parnassus. I'm sorry, can't even talk today. Parnassus. Anyway, what's interesting about this? It says released on October 31st. Ooh, interesting. And also in 2009. Now, I don't remember this. Now, this may not be a Mandela effect or not, but I do not see. We're having movies just come out of nowhere, and we also have movies removed, like Shazam with Sinbad, right? And he's got a threat out there. He says, "Oh, the government's gonna come attack you if you have one of the 3 videos of me that was in that movie." Oh, come on, Sinbad, get real, bud. Quit your garbage. You ain't gonna attack anybody. You ain't got no government, you got no backing, you got nothing. It's a spiritual thing, not even a government thing. Yes, spiritual can control the government, but come on. So not to get distracted about that, but see, he actually admitted to that Shazam was a true movie. He said it's been retracted. But we also found other movies that popped out of nowhere, right? And sometimes songs, and sometimes bands as well, in these different timeline merging this reality. Well, anyway. So this one I cannot 100% say though, but about 90% because back in 2009 I was pretty much monitoring a lot of movies. I'm a big movie buff, but I kind of paid attention to something like this. Is a pretty good movie, and I'm not kidding you. It's really, really good. It has a lot of truths in it about a reality. I was blown away by this movie. So if you get a chance, it's actually kind of entertaining. And then you watch "Oh My God, Kirk wasn't entertaining all," but I actually enjoyed it. So I'm going to talk about this movie real quick. All right. It was released in October 2009, and so it's about traveling theater. Well, the world's a theater, right? We're kind of are a traveling theater. We're traveling through the galaxy, right? And the world is a stage. We know that now. There's many stories that are real, and they're mind-boggling. That we know that Medusa was probably real, and we know that Robin Hood was real. We know that Atlantis was real, right? So there's all these stories. Even Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior, was real, and all these stories were real things, right? The Buddhist was real. But anyway, so the thing is that imagination, see, the things that are art becomes reality, and reality is art, that it's kind of a yin-yang, and it keeps circling around, right? So I'm hitting some there with this, okay? So you got to remember that imagination. See, you got to imagine it. See, because I thought that just word of your mouth or things you thought could influence. Remember, we cannot change reality. I don't like this new age stuff where you can just pop and just the world's just gonna bend over to everything you have, right? That ain't true. But we can influence it, right? We influence it through good things and good deeds and other things like that, right? We're influencers, also creators. We help create the reality of good places where that check of the good side and the balance, right? So anyway, so the wisdom hidden in this is that we are these creators, creator under your creator, your God, or things like that. We're helpers to facilitate that. We do it through imagination. So you got to put in a vision, right? So imagine becomes reality. So you got to have an image. That's why it's an imagination. It's an image, right? Because we know there's a lot of things in phonics and things like this. Okay, that tell us some truths. And okay, so I was going to show you about this. It's an amazing movie because a wonderful fantasy. Now I don't know what you spin on, but the graphics for that time in 2009 was pretty darn good, right? And I also watched The Black Hole. You should also watch The Black Hole, the original 1979. Amazing, the graphics. It actually had a true good. The storyline was so well done. The actors and the setup was just perfect. I mean, compare this garbage that comes out today. I mean, like Matt from Quantum Conscious, he talks about a lost century. Boy, I tell you what, the movie's been lost. Everything's lost. Lost in space, lost in Earth, right? I'm not kidding you. It's garbage. But anyway, it is. It's interesting how something like that, 1979, The Black Hole, I was mind-boggled. Really enjoyed it, right? And I don't have a lot of time for movies. But anyway, so I'm going to keep moving forward. I'm sorry I'm babbling so long and stuff like this. But I'm going to bring up this gallery that I have. Now I'm too far advanced. I want to show you something. I took a bunch of screenshots because sometimes I had to get try to get the right angle or what was going on here. And I'm going to show you this. This is from the movie, okay? And in this movie, that you will see something very interesting, which I can't quite discern, but it is interesting that you have the cross here, even here, and you have an angel floating up, and that's on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, you have, it's the Freemason, like the Freemason, from what I can tell. You know, the compass and the thing like this, right? So it's like, what is going on here? Is a balance of this and that, right? And it has this creature floating kind of like the Lord, which actually ends up being, he's got hoofs, right? Even like there. Versus, kind of like the, the heifer, the hoofs of the satanic Luciferian stuff, right? But it's amazing. But I found it interesting that the cross is on the right and that's on the left, right? Does that have any significance? I'm not going to go there into detail whether that's a positive or negative, but I find that very dang interesting. So I'm going to clear that for a second, because think about that for a moment. Why would the Lord's cross be on the right, and also then the Freemason on the left? So it's kind of like opposing forces with those. And it almost looks like he's carrying a Ten Commandments or something here, or some kind of book. So I had to move the whole thing right here. So I think that's the thing, is because you kind of got to dig deeper than what the Lord even presented. He was a truth and a way and some of those things, but you got to really to understand your Creator and all this things going on, the gods and this and stuff. You got to dig deeper into that thing, and that's why we have this and trying to figure out our reality, right? Then you got the all-seeing eye right above there, right there. So it's kind of like the all-seeing eye, even with the pyramid, is blocking you to the sun or the Creator, we thought, or the energy of this world, of the source, right? And it's got a face in there. I can't figure out who the face is. It's got some guy's head. So, and I can tell you that's probably not your Creator. I don't know. I got to do more research. Wait. I'm trying to think. Did they actually show who that is? I think that guy is actually one of the characters, and I want to spoil it for you, that ends up in a nightmare at the end. Is that true? Yes, it is. So even that's a fake. So everything in this thing is a fake. Everything's fake, right? So anyway, so that's why we're all here. So this is, so I'm going to zoom in here. Look at this. I mean, seriously, you got the all-seeing eye, the pyramid, and then you got these like demonic things floating around here and floating there and stuff like that. I should have done it for more analysis, because there's even one scene where it has a checkerboard like that we know about the Freemasons. No, not Freemasons. Freemasons also do the black and white checkerboard, like a chess game, and also checkers. No, chess. Sorry, chess, and also that's some of the Illuminati stuff as well, right? Well, anyway, so I'm going to move on for that for a minute. And this is the guy he's got an interesting story. He actually, I don't want to ruin it for you, but he tells right off the start that he lives forever under making certain deals, right? So I don't want to spoil it for you, because I just want to, and I hope this does, but it shouldn't. Now this scene here is very interesting. I'm going to bring this up in here, because what was interesting about this scene, I don't want to spoil it from you, there's a part where Princess Diana is actually floating down there with other people, historical, we call them great figures or just idols or things that people, just very prominent in society. Now, Princess Diana, I didn't realize is even in her name. Now, I may be wrong on this, so don't correct me. You might have to correct me if I'm wrong. But Princess die, Princess die. Then Anna from Frozen. Yeah, she was a princess too. Was supposed to inherit the queen and stuff as well. See, so Princess Di. See, it was even in her name. Unfortunately, as probably part of her script. I can't guarantee it. But Princess Di, Anna. See, Di, and then Anna from she's a symbol of those combinations, and we know unfortunately that her tragedy, right? Well, it shows her floating down here, and so there is she's stuck between the dark and the light. See, that's because she probably battled that entire life stuck between the light. So you got this river here, right? River Styx or whatever we would call this thing, right? But here on the right hand side, I don't want to spoil the whole thing in the movie for you, but here you got Satan and his land, the motel, one night stands. It talks about all this evil over here on the right. and on the left you have the sand dunes and stuff like this. It's supposed to be more of, like see this. They come from this land of enchantment. It looks like petals and stuff like there, right? I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's important to understand this side was supposed to be kind of more of light. This is dark, and here's the river Styx going between there, okay? Now, guess what? We have this pyramid. Isn't that amazing? A black pyramid, not like the other pyramids. Now, we know that black pyramids, that they think there's one actually in Egypt that was dismantled, but there's also black pyramids that are popping up out of nowhere that they're talking about. Well, it looks like a shadow actually here too. But, I mean, see, because you might see the side here. But in all, it's probably like a black pyramid with the moon. See, the moon's on Satan's side here. Here just got some sunlight and shining this side right here. You get the dark side shadowing from the pyramid. So, anyway, so what am I trying to get at this? Well, I had a point to make. And what it was that you can even see the shadow of the moon in the river. That's interesting. Anyway, God, I got to think about, because, you're like, well, you're talking about this Princess Diana. Well, that's one thing about it. But, that's what it is. That's what I'm trying to tell. See, this whole reality is about, we have to react to what's thrown at us. I'm doing that constantly now, that if something evil comes at you, it's a reaction. It's the response that we do to not give them energy, to the energy vampires or this and that. It's a reaction. So that now I don't react to fear, I don't rage or hate, or if you insult me or attack me or call me names or you send the police after me, you do all these nasty things to me. I'm going to react in a calm manner and stay balanced and well and just deal with it, right? I'm going to stay balanced. So the reaction to decisions, because what happens is when you come to here, this is what this is about. Every one of these, I don't want to spoil for you, you have to make a decision. Are you going to go this way and get in the bad side with Satan, or this way? And he's very deceptive. So what's your decision on how you're going to, what decision are you going to make? See, everything's about choice. So decision choices. So you're going to have to make a decision and a reaction, right? That's a lot about what this world is, to respond and react, okay? So that's what's important about this. That's why I brought this up. I actually see an apparition there as a face. I don't know if you see that. Let's see. I just noticed that. Anyway, because I can see things off the bat. I don't know if you see it. There's actually a face in there. But anyway, there's a face in the head. Right. Oh. Right here. All right. But anyway, so the thing is, a lot of this reality, like I said, it's important that you react, and I can't stress that enough, because I know it sounds basic, but it really is. Kiss it. Keep it simple. And I say stupid because sometimes Kirk's stupid. But you really got to think about the way you react. You can just be silent. And that's what the Lord did a lot of time. He was just silent. Or any other great people in our history. You respond with silence, or sometimes you have to react, but react in the right way or positive way. Try to make it, a lot is about the way you react, right? Walk away from that fight, or sometimes you do got to stand up and put up a fight, but be tactful and be respectful and make sure that you try to turn it into a win-win situation, right? So reaction. Let's see what else we got. Now, I know that you say, well, Kirk, I'm just trying to stress that. If I say God, Kirk, that's so simple, stupid, but it really is important to understand that you've got to, what did I get here? Anyway, there's so many theories behind all this. Oh, and this is another one I'm going to show you here. This one's interesting because this blows my mind, because you got this. This is your Satan character, right? Guess what's right behind him? It's Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior. Like, really, bud? You got a picture of him on the wall, and that's where it gets tricky, right there. Because, see, you are kind of going through the Christ or Lord experience here, right? And we all are, and it's a mess. And so the thing is that you got to be careful that even trying to get through the Lord's way, like the Christians are doing, no offense to them, that they're getting trapped, right? They're getting trapped through the book of deceptions that are in the Bible. Whether you think there's deceptions or not, I think you better read it again, or it can be twist and turn. So be very dang careful, right? Even under those deceptions. And I'm not telling you what's truth or right or wrong, because I told you I know nothing. I'm just trying to tell you from my experiences, my perceptions, and what's been presented to us. You got to be very careful with this stuff, right? So So and guess what? Big vacancy. We're gonna load you up, boy. Anybody that's evil or wrong or this and that's gonna be in a. You're gonna be there, and so yeah, it's always vacant for the evil side. Boy, they always got the door open. To be a good person is hard in this world, isn't it? Right? Feels like the door's always closed on you. Every door you push, you shove, you bang on. It seems like doors. It happens to it's your, you wonder why you didn't get that certain job or some stinky butt did something nasty to you, and it's hard because every door seems locked, right? But there's always that golden door that opens up for you, and sometimes it works out better, right? So that's why you got to be very careful. There's a lot of vacancies in the world. Do you want to be a drug dealer? Boy, you can probably do it in 10 seconds. Just walk down the street and say, I want to do it. So, I mean, there's a lot of vacancies to ending up on, that's what I said about decisions, reactions, and things like this. There's a lot of ways to get across that bridge over here, right? It is very simple, right? So don't go into water here like this, all right? So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. I hope that I did a little bit of that. I was going to talk more about reality, and I should have done more. I'm going to pause this for a second. Let me think if there's anything I missed. Well, I can't think a lot. Like I said, it's about reaction. I just went out basically to Walmart about 10 seconds ago, and I've learned to be very quiet in society, by the way. Blend in with the sheeple, the normies, by the way, in my opinion. Don't stick out like a sore thumb, because it just leads to attention grabbing and stuff like this. And I've gotten to a point where I don't even say hi to people. I mean, it's really sad. I can actually see who I can talk to, hire this and that, but I just don't, because in this people, they're not used to people smiling. It's amazing how if you even smile, it's so rare. Like, oh my God, that person's smiling. And some people take good for it, and other people just don't. You stand out, right? So anyway, I get tested. So I left the Walmart. Yeah, and a police lady, she was really nice. She approached me right off the bat, and I'm like, oh, you kidding me? Another test. My reaction, it went smooth. We had a great time, but see. Not a great time. It was a great moment to stay relaxed and deal with her, because these officers, no offense, they can be very, very naughty in this world. And sometimes you can blame it on society pushing back on, but some of it's not. I heard a case earlier today that makes me want to just puke. I mean, this poor lady, she ends up passing away in a vehicle and went from a hospital. She was arrested just trying to get help for having a stroke. She was having a stroke, and they said she was lying and then making up these stories, and she passed away in that vehicle. It was a horrifying story. There again, be careful. We acknowledge it. Don't feed that negativity. Move on. Say that is wrong. It's inappropriate. And we know that, right? I mean, it's just a heartless story. So anyway, all right. So what else? I got some other things, too, about this reality. I've been studying really deep. And it gets really deep. But like I said, you can study it all day long. And this reality will throw something in your face to make sure that it already knows where you're headed, right? It'll present something to you in your face. But there are some things that I want to share with you when I get a chance. And right now, but I just don't have the time. I apologize, because I got to do some moving tomorrow. I got to get out and travel again, okay? So there is some things that really mind-blowing that I discovered. Like even Princess Diana, by the way, I'm talking about water. Water is very important to this reality more than I realized. That water, a lot of things are, by the way, that water is almost a basis of alchemy. And that actually the spiritual world can actually communicate through us through water. They can. There's actually an episode of a guy named Huffman who actually had as a photograph of Princess Diana actually coming towards him in the water, just, he's splashing water. And I've seen things in water too. And I've seen even in puddles. I've seen water form into buffaloes and other items, water in faces and things like that. So you remember the whole world's malleable by the spiritual world, and even water is a very important one. Because why do you think they talk about baptism and you're mostly made of water? So water is H2O and stuff and all these things. So talk about that and things about that is very important. Okay, and so anyway. There's also things more about a reality that, some thoughts that what is going on. See, it's really hard for us to understand. We don't know all the who's involved, right? And the why. The why is still a tough one. The why. Nobody can say why, right? I've heard everything. It's an experiment. It's a test. It's trying to understand the psychology of mankind. I heard it's evolution, and it's evolving. All these other theories, right? And it's kind of like this. We have to play this game, but we don't even know the rules, right? We don't know the rules of that. And I talked about that in the gaming rule, right? that under a certain game. So that's giving you some thoughts about how do you play a game when you don't know the rules, and how do you exit the matrix, right? I got some ideas like that. Some of that involves Machiavellian. Some of it involves Tesla. The 3, 6, and 9, and 8 is another number involved in that. There's a lot of hints out there. The Da Vinci Code. So I'll try to wrap that up in a common thread or theme and present that as well. Okay? Take care. Have a great evening or day wherever you're at. And by the way, the stock market, stay out of that thing unless you know how to trade, because it's going to be channeled like this, if not tank. I'm not trying to be a fearmonger, but just be careful, because you look at history. It's not to go there, but the whole thing is getting tightened, right? The ropes are tightening on the monetary situations. That here's the reality of this, that an inflation standpoint, that anytime we had inflation jump above 4%, it usually like back in the 60s, it took 25 years or greater to return that back into the 80s before the stock market's balanced and hit new highs. So you're going to see the same kind of scare probably here. 9 years was, I think it took 9 years, I think, between the beginning of 2009. It actually started a little bit earlier to recovery to that situation even today. So I'm saying, unless you're going to, and I know a lot of you are just, the reason I put out there is the rule to follow is money. Money is key to, they think, the power, which it isn't. But if you follow the money, you can follow the traction, follow the trail, you follow the stock market, this and that. All right. Take care and have a great evening.